Hello. A few days ago, I was sitting down talking to my friend Nick, and we were discussing about the jobs we first had when we were young children, what they were like. I was talking about starting in a fast food restaurant called Red Rooster. She was talking about starting in a shoe business place, all at the age of 13. And as the conversation continued, we talked about the experiences that we had over time, what we learned about having jobs from a young age, and what skills we have now. And we began talking about work ethic, and we then got on to the conversation about how we first met and became good friends. And Nick and I first met at Super Mart, which is a furniture superstore in Australia. And I was working with her for when I was 19. For a few years while I was at university, and we were talking about quirks of different people were there, how other people that we worked with made us laugh, funny moments we had when we were at work, and really enjoying having a conversation with quite nostalgia about working at this place. And she said to me, "Can you remember what your interview was like?" And then I started thinking about it. It's actually the first time I've thought about this interview because it was so long ago. And she said, what was the interview like? I said, well, I was in my second year of uni, so I was 19. And my boss said to me in the interview, so why do you want to work for us? What makes you different from everybody else? Because a lot of people are interested in this job, and sometimes working in an office is not that exciting. It's a lot of answering phones, looking at invoices, telling people about finance, and it's not really exciting at times. So how are you going to handle that, and why are you different? Why are you interested in this? It's something that I remember my high school teachers telling me to be prepared for. When I was in high school, remember the question when they say, why are you better than other people? Why should we hire you? So I was basically prepared for this, and I'd also answered those questions many times before because I'd already been in the workforce for 6 years by then. So when Sonia asked me this, I said, well, because I'm going to have a business someday. And I need to, if I'm going to run my own business, I need to know what it's like to be a worker in it. And it's really funny to think about that now because I have my own business. I'm a self-empowerment coach, motivational speaker, and author. I have had employees myself now. I started my business in London. I'm expanded. I'm now expanding in Australia, but I've reached clients across 7 different countries, across several different languages. I've run wellness challenges for individuals and for corporate clients. I've run workshops for people on confidence and positivity, changing negative thoughts. I speak at schools. I speak for small groups and so forth, as and when people need, and I have really achieved quite a lot. And so it's really cool sitting here thinking, at 31, that back at 19 I had said that I was going to make that my goal. Like, that was my goal, and that's why I was investing in working in office. And I can tell you, working in that office has actually helped me in my business. And I wanted to share that with you because I have this motto in my business called Inspire Yourself. And you see it, on my website, and I talk about inspiring yourself all the time. I use the hashtag, all that sort of stuff on Instagram and so forth. And it's really important to me because I feel like people need to get to that point where they own what they want in their life so much that even when they haven't actively written down exactly what they're going to do, it's just so innate in them. At the time where I had this interview, I was studying Bachelor of Senior and Middle Schooling, so I was training to become a school teacher with specialisations in health and physical education and English literature. So when I said to her that I'm going to have my own business, it was so far removed from my qualification at the time that I was training in, and I'd only been doing it for like a year and a half when I went for this job interview. But I knew that it was something I was going to do, and then the more that I talked to Nick about where this idea for business came from, I realised that, you know, at some point there was a conversation I think I had with myself or with friends around how business is a good way to do the things that you want to do in your fashion, without, you know, the confines of other people's structure that you've got to kind of get to make work for you. And obviously, in this reflection, I realised that obviously I'd internalised that even more than I thought, because when I thought about all my social interactions, I had always talked about business, and I had always said that I was going to be doing it. I had always found opportunities to be looking at where I would be investing in business. But it came to this point a couple of years ago when I knew that there was something that I needed to say, and I knew that I needed to help people with the struggles they were having, and it was about this lack of self-love, this lack of self-value. And when I looked at my teaching career, every time I encountered kids, and the reason why I had good relationships with students was because students that I had encountered before, they were possibly rough backgrounds or were having a tough time, they could see that I valued who they were as a person. And I found that adults find the same thing with me. My friends would say to me, "Why is that random person who doesn't know you talking to you?" And so I kind of added all these things together in the end and recognised that that was what I was meant to be doing. I wasn't meant to be in a classroom, a conventional classroom anymore, if you like, because obviously I still coach people, it's still teaching in some aspect. And so it's really cool to sit here now at 31 and to know that, you know, what I do with my business is something that essentially has really only kicked into overdrive in the last 18 months, and I'm reaching clients in 7 countries, and I'm doing all these other programs with people, both, you know, personal programs and corporate programs, and it's very, very exciting. So I want people who are watching this, who perhaps think, how do you do that, to listen to this next word I'm going to say to you, and that is choice. There is nothing different between me and you except for the fact that you make a choice, and you only need to choose what you're going to do next and own it in order to be successful. People look at people like individuals look at people like Richard Branson and think that he is an incredibly different man. No, he's not. He just made a choice again and again and again to follow what was his passion and what he wanted to do. And I'm sure he's had similar moments like this to me, where he's gone, wow, you know, everything that I had set down I wanted to do. I talk to a lot of individuals who can't get to that place of owning it because they get stuck in this lack of self-love. They've listened to so many other people tell them that they aren't capable of this and they aren't capable of that. And that's why I want you to really start to think about what you want and to own it, because that is when you really inspire yourself. That is when you really see untapped, unlimited potential for what you can do in your life. And that is when you can sit, 12 years on and go, wow, look at something I said over 10 years ago I would do, and it's done successfully, and it's going to keep getting done successfully. So while I'm here, I want to say to you that I have a couple of major goals for my business. I'm not scared to share them. I want people to know about them. So these are my goals. At the moment, I reach 7 countries across a couple of languages. I want to reach, in the next 5 years, 30 countries. I want to help people across 30 countries to be empowered individuals who break away from negativity and self-doubt to achieve what they want. I want to help people who are tired of relationships that say you can't have the success and happiness that you want, because you can have it. You know, socioeconomic status, your education, your previous relationships, your gender, your age, your religion, your race, your culture, none of that affects what you can do. Not even financial capabilities affects what you can do. I also want to help 6.5 million people from war-torn affected areas, because I believe when empowered people are truly empowered, they love themselves from the inside out. And that means empowered people don't want to hurt other people. They don't want to, you know, an empowered society means a peaceful society. So I want to help people to break free from their insecurities. And I think 6.5 million people is a good place to start. So I have an intention, I have a date set for that to happen. It's not going to happen in 5 years. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in 10 years. But this is going to be something that's going to happen over the next several decades. And it's something I'm committed to doing. Other thing that I want to do, and I know is going to happen, it's really close to my heart, because I've had too many things that break my heart when it comes to this. And I know that Ashton Kutcher would agree with me here. I want to help 1 million people that have been affected by sex trafficking. So I'm talking about 1 million women or children who have been affected by sex trafficking. And I want to do that in 25 years. So it sounds like it's a short space of time, but it's 1 million people. It's a lot of people. Is there that many people to help? Yeah, there's a lot more. The cool part about this is that you might sit there watching this and think that's a really crazy idea. But I'm also sitting in my chair knowing that this goal of creating my business 10 years ago I've done successfully, and every other goal that I've set down I've done. So I'm actually quite confident that I'm going to make a really positive impact, and I hope that you join me and follow me on the journey. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. You can follow me on my website as well and comment on the things that I put on there. And of course there's going to be more videos in my YouTube channel. So please do stay connected. If you want to get some coaching with me, then why don't you just contact me? So you get a 15-minute free consultation, and we can set up some stuff where you become empowered and you can inspire yourself, just like I have done with myself. And that email address is julia@julia-trask.com. I hope you have an inspired day, guys. Thank you. Ciao.